Many people think X is the striker with the greatest control potential. Some think it's Juliet, but what if I told you the strongest striker of them all was Era? These 5 tips will go over how to extract the most out of Era's control and to single-handedly turn a game from a 3v3 to a 3v0. Quick initial tip on rounds where I don't know if we have a good chance defensively, like if I have a random goalie and it's the first round of a game, I will hit all of my team with my secondary as the round starts. If you've noticed Spectacular's in a lot of these clips, he's a buddy of mine. I'll tell him I'm making you fast or something similar, and we go charging out the gates. If you don't know Era's secondary, it makes all allies in that circle faster for a short while. In this case, it lets us get to the core faster without expending cooldowns, forcing the enemy Rasmus to use his primary, and after a short duel we win out and actually get a barrier off this initial pressure. It's a big cooldown to use early, but if you aren't sure you can win on defense, throw this out early and you should find yourselves at an advantage in those beginning parts of a match. Just don't do this every round. Your speed boost is a vital key for repositioning or to usher your team forwards later in a round, so save it for later if you're confident you can at least have a chance at that initial combat. The core eventually in this clip comes to me and I need to get it past Aimee and the goalie to get that last barrier, but Era has the perfect kit for this. I kick the core towards Aimee, then knowing exactly where she's going to be, I fire my primary at her. Era's primary deals a small hit of damage, but its utility is the important part. Any enemy hit has their speed, size, and power reduced, and allies have their wall increased. But it's the enemy bit I'm excited about here. The size difference alone is incredible, and is what lets me slip the core past this Aimee. With her reduced size, she is forced to hug the top wall, leaving a completely open path to the last goal barrier. The easiest one of my life, all thanks to Era's ability to make people small, and with a bit more pressure, we clean up the goal. In this next clip, we are struggling. Our random Estelle is chasing the core using every ability the second it's off cooldown. She nearly scores a few goals and goal barrier hits against us through the course of the game. There are a few times I'm left in a 1v3 trying to score a goal, and no amount of goal forcing is going to work against 3 players and some core flips. So I bide my time. I see Dubu waiting to defend from me in the top of the goal again, leaving the bottom for their Estelle. Our Estelle goes to spam one of her abilities again, throwing the core straight back at their Estelle, but I have a plan. All it needs is a little luck, but we've already explained in previous videos that luck only comes to those who prepare for it. Speaking of which, if this isn't the first of our guides you've watched, could you maybe drop a sub? We're stretching to reach YouTube partnership and it will really help us out. The general response from the Omega Strikers community has been lovely so far, so thank you for that. So, back to my plan. If Estelle is just going to yeet the core back to their defender, with a bit of luck, if I shrink their defender, there's a chance they don't reach the core and it either slips into the goal or will force one of their core flips. Their Estelle and Dubu don't see this coming, they react too slow and we get a free goal in an otherwise losing game. This works doubly well against goalies too. In this next clip we're winning the round, but we cannot get past their giant Dubu. But the good thing about a percentage size shrink ray is that the bigger you are, the more size I take away. Our Aimee is forced to core flip because she jumped out of position, that's how we ended up in this mess, and all I need to do is shrink their goalie and there is no chance that they can stop this one. We are in the closing stages of this next game. My friend Rasmus got the goal barrier down and now we just need to score, but they have a core flip and 3 people defending it. As soon as I see the core come to me, I lay down my special pointed towards their goal. Era's special when used will create this little orb on the ground that grows over time. If you reactivate it, or after a set period of time, it'll fly in the direction you set it in, dealing damage and pushing both the core and enemies with it. Era's special is ideal for denying an area of the map from enemies. Once it starts flying, they have to get out of its way, so by aiming at the goal just before I know I'm about to try and shoot, I know I can make the goal a lot easier, or at least make the save a lot more costly and chaotic for the enemy team. I strike, but Octavia retreats and core flips on the goal line to save it. But she has to start moving away from my special, and it's so big and so close that she has nowhere to clear to. She attempts to shoot it up towards their Estelle, but my special is charging in. It steals the core and boops it into the goal, closing out the round, and in that case, the game. You can use this special to deny space from any enemy in any place. If they're pressuring a certain wing, if you want to keep them from an orb, or of course to score goals and goal barriers. So many times you will see goalies still try to save and just get booped off the map into their own goal as they try. You get to score for free even if they did manage to save. So give this one a go in your next forward push with Era. Just remember you have to set it up before you strike, giving the special time to grow in power. You can't be as reactive with it, you have to preempt this one. For this last tip, I want to give you some awakening recommendations for Era to better control the battlefield. These aren't necessarily the only awakenings for Era, I know there are some other good ones out there, but if you want to play the midfield enemy controller, these are the ones to look out for. Oh, and just be warned that Odyssey Interactive have started rotating out some awakenings, so these might not always be in your games, and there might be new ones to look out for. Primetime and Rapid Fire, or any other awakening that shortens the cooldown of your primary ability, is an amazing choice for you control errors. This is the main way you dictate the game, and with added cooldown, or 2 charges, it lets you use it for core control as well. In this game, you see me shrink the enemy Luna, which is the sort of main utilization of your primary, and ends up getting her killed, but then because I have a second fire of it, I use it to finish off the later goal. Castellast is honestly the best awakening for you though. If you are against a good Era in competitive, you have to take this away from her. It increases your buff and debuff duration, which yes, makes your secondary last for longer, but that's not really what we're after here. What it really does for you is make your Shrink Ray last a lot longer. In this fast-paced game, you see we are pretty much always moving quickly thanks to my secondary and Castellast, and as we go for this last goal barrier, I managed to shrink their entire team. Now this would be good in any scenario with Era, but with Castellast they are small for so long, they don't even have a chance to try and save this goal. Atlas popping back up to size just as the core flies in. If you need another reason to pick up Castellast, by the way, just look at this clip. With Castellast you're able to stack your Shrink Ray. Having hit the Luna once, I hit her again while she's still extra small, and look how tiny she is. The core is bigger than her. I literally passed to her, and she is too tiny to hit it back. It's incredible. So, now you two are ready to make the entire enemy team so small, they might as well not be playing. If you found the guide helpful, please do drop us a like, comment down below on any other guides you would like to see for any other characters or any other techniques, and subscribe if you want more content like this. Ciao.